Fresh off the island, like the way we style it.
Welcome to One Shell Behind. This is Nick.
And Monica. And
today we are back with our kava drinking, listening to kava adjacent music podcast. I realize that we haven't really explained in the previous installments of this podcast about what exactly we're doing. I think we just kind of just started off.
I thought you were really strong, and then you just pivoted abruptly there.
Just pivoted it away.
Mm-hmm.
This is a podcast where we drink kava and listen to kava adjacent music.
Okay.
Or kava related. We've used different terms. I feel like adjacent's a little bit more on the
I'm keen.
Aligned. Are you keen? Are you keen with adjacent? I think we could work with adjacent. So yes, we are a kava drinking. Okay, let's start over again. Let's cut and now action. Welcome to One Shell Behind. This is Nick.
And Monica.
And this is One Shell Behind. See, I already got it flipped around. So I'm just gonna go. We are a kava drinking podcast. We are a podcast where we drink kava and listen to kava adjacent music and do shallow dives into said music. And we have been in this first series doing a kind of multi-year journey through the album Vanuatu Proud by Nawarake. Initially released in 2021. We are 5 tracks into that. But today we wanted to do a little bit of a pivot and talk about the song that we have been using remixes of for the title track for each of our podcast episodes.
The title track.
The title track, right? The opening song? Maybe not intro song. Maybe not title track. The opening song for our podcast so far, the song is Island Fresh by Nawarake from the album Ratness, which came out in 2017. And it features a number of artists from Vanuatu, including Paytax, Rexley, James Longdale, JP Nalay, Vanessa Cash Money on the violin. I think that's everyone, right? Did we include everyone in that
last bit? That's who he shouts out in the song.
Yeah, and then the beat is produced by Rim Selecta, who's featured on a number of tracks by Nawarake, and it has a number of great music that they produce throughout different platforms, YouTube, SoundCloud, etc. So definitely check out Rim Selecta. Links in the show notes.
Links in show notes.
I'll have to remember to put Rim Selecta in the show notes now. But yeah, definitely we'll be checking out Island Fresh today. But before that, what are we drinking tonight? We're drinking kava-related again. I think stuff from Tawa, got from Celica.
That's exactly right.
And it's still good, but actually with I guess the change here, because we did note in the past couple episodes that our bit about the kava is struggling because it's definitely always kava Tonga because we're in Tonga and we don't really have
we bought it locally, yes.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, I mean, I don't mean that. It's just it's always kava. We don't really... It's not it's like a different kind. It's like, what are you drinking tonight? Oh, well, I'm drinking this. I mean, this is certainly, we're drinking the same kava for a bit here. The stuff from Tawa, I think from Tawa and Vava'u, and it's good.
It kicks your ass.
It does. It's a quality kava. But I guess the special thing tonight is we have smoked salmon and cream cheese as a wash 'em out.
Yeah.
A chaser, a faka ifo.
With some sesame crackers.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty fucking awesome. I gotta say, the combination of flavors is very high end. It's this fancy kava tonight to talk about the fancy song Island Fresh. Hashtag Peak Nawarake. Hashtag Fancy Fresh. Hashtag Fancy Feast.
Like the way we're styling.
Yes. All right, so with that said, we're going to have a shell, and we'll be back with Island Fresh by Nawarake.
Looking forward to shallowly diving.
Yes. All right, shells up.
Bye.
Always keep them smiling. Papa God, thank you for today.
Fresh like you in a full pack of PKs with
And we're back with One Shell Behind. Today we're jumping into Island Fresh by Nawarake from the album Ratness in 2017. As mentioned earlier, the song has features a number of different artists. Paytax, Rexley, JP Nalé are all featured on the verses. James Longdale is on the chorus. Vanessa Cash Money is the violin throughout. The beat was produced. Soundtrack was produced by Rim Selecta. So we're going to jump in and begins with the chorus and then followed by the first verse of Paytax and the chorus again. The second verse has Rexley and JP Nalé, and then we hit the the second to last chorus, final verse with Nawarake before jumping into that final chorus to close it all out. So without further ado, let's start Island Fresh.
Fresh off the island, like the way we're styling. Always keep them smiling. Papa God, thank you for today.
fresh like chewing a full pack of PKs. We living easy, island fresh, baby. Feeling relaxed on the daily. City life's crazy, but it's the island life that made me unwind like a bush trail. Save me after hard work. Yeah, it's time to be lazy. Story on now, and me life through you me. Usually with the shell or two through me. Respect them all, family truly. Unity and one good thing. Island fresh in the place, and we moving forward, not looking back. It's a fact. Pay tax, nicely and fresh like ice cream on a track. Squeeze a lime in a glass with 2 cubes of ice. Yeah, we living the life. Big up to my people that be keeping the smile. It's how we roll, island fresh, Vanuatu style.
Fresh off the island.
Right, so that's the first verse with Paytax. I think the first interesting thing about the song is it's actually a pretty quick song. The verses are really kind of like compact, to say maybe, and like it's like almost kind of exhibit of like their skills, like just like within like their
storytelling ability.
Yeah, and the rhymes and the creativity within them. Like I think like that's what really highlights for me. I mean, it's interesting in the sense that I've listened to this song a lot, but I've never really kind of, I guess, more actively listened. I think we talked about this last time when we were talking about the track Home and how listen to it a lot, really enjoy it, but never like, you don't always kind of like sit and think, oh, what do these lyrics mean?
Certainly.
But like in this case, it wasn't so much that, it was more like I'm familiar with the names of all of these artists. Like I know the name Paytax. I don't know him personally. I know the name Rexley. I don't know him personally. I know their music. JP as well. I've heard the name. I've heard it for a long time. I never met him, but I know his music. And like kind of really thinking about James Longdale, another one. Heard him in a lot of tracks. Nawarake has him featured in a number of tracks. You know, terrific, beautiful singer and songwriter. But I've never really like considered the artist more like, and that's just an interesting one to actually like consider. Like, who am I actually listening to at this point, and whose style is, and whose lyrics and
like
creativity
the strengths they all bring to the team.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the flow of this first verse is definitely like just kind of highlighting the ability to like mixing, like moving between English and Bislama in this very fluid motion and way that sounds really cool in the way that it's done, and then throwing in the rhymes. Like I think it's always been really interesting, especially coming from a person who is not musically inclined, let alone hip hop inclined. To like listen to these songs that connect and create these sounds and create these, like, I don't even know how to describe it. So I'm not sure if I actually have the vocabulary to describe it, like the words to describe it, but
yeah, I mean, like it starts off super high energy, right? Like it creates like this banging anthem where you're just celebrating island life, and like even though we only paused it here, like that 2/3 the rest of the song is still you're still gonna be on this ride.
Yeah. No, it's just like the picture they can create, and like I think, you know, at the end where he's just got, like, he breathes out as part of the track, right? Like, it creates this kind of, like, visceral feeling, which is really cool, because, like, you can certainly paint an image with words, but then to also, like, make you feel something as well. I think there's just something that at least, I mean, I think all of them do it well, but just talking about Paytex right now, he does an incredibly great job of just making you kind of feel the, like, I don't even, it's not just describing it, right? Like, you got the painted image, like the idea of being like, the town's really busy, you're able to get away, you're able to live that island life, you're able to feel relaxed, you're able to let go of those concerns, that the burdens of living in town, or living in a city, that kind of, you know, the 9 to 5, the work, all the stresses that are related to essentially, you know, needing money to buy everything, and you can get away from that. So that image is painted, but then there's also this kind of like, just kind of visceral feeling that he does in the way that he, like, enunciates words and uses those kind of, like, verbal cues or verbal the sounds to actually, like, make you feel it as well.
It's like the ASMR of, like, a deep breath.
Yeah, there's just something about it that, like, really, like, especially on this listen just now, where I was just, like, kind of, you know, really actively listening to it and just feeling that moment. Yeah, it was really cool. But
Agreed.
yeah, all right, we want to move on to the second chorus and second verse.
Let's do it.
This will be Rexley and JP featured in the same verse. Like, cutting that verse in half, and the transition is another one that's really smooth and really cool to listen to. So here we go.
You like the way we styling, always keep it smiling. Papa God, thank you for today. Thank you for today.
Rexley, Film Island fresh. Me put island shirt, you put island dress. Girl, dedicate Long Islanders. Not cause I'm South Long Islands, yeah. Hey, Rexley, and I do it so freshly. Yes, please, small microphone testing. It's me, just back from the park. Island fresh with the ratness squad. Hey,
Island blow me manicolo, mi blong village walarano. Even mi bonong town, mi still stand up long ground. Bubuta lim soni tabu, full up yang manis makamaru. Raro kung kan sariwele, beyak sa kirsle. Himas rapi me gorten, nalisikir no foketem. Combato tus kotlaen, ako tukla sus puksita ket meloloket. Island
Fresh off the island.
All right, that was the second verse. Another one that feels quick. Like, it's a normal length song, but I guess they're getting a lot of different artists in there, which is actually really cool.
And the second part of that second verse was rapped very quickly.
Yeah, JP's always had a really, like, his cadence when he's rapping is always very quick, and it's also, he's interesting in the sense that he's francophone, so he has this, like, he mixes Bislama with French, and I think even English in there sometimes, or maybe that's just the Bislama.
Super talented.
Yeah, it's really incredible to listen to. But yeah, just, like, again, that's very smooth transition is always really cool. But the song has a very kind of nice through line where, if you didn't know, well, we certainly know better. But there's, like, kind of like a theme within it. Obviously, the island life, and Rexley kind of puts it well with the island dress and the islandness and the fresh off the island, and, like, there's this whole kind of, like, you know, general theme around that, but also just, like, the transitions between the chorus and each of the artists, and even when there's two artists in the same verse where it transitions almost very suddenly in some cases.
Almost seamlessly.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still very seamless. Like, it's a seamless transition. There's not, like, a pause in between or anything that would necessarily indicate that Rexley's going to stop now and JP is going to begin. But yeah, no, absolutely love that part. Probably why we chose this song for the not title track, the intro.
The intro to our podcast.
Intro to the podcast. Yeah, so it's a terrific song, and they do a really great job with that. But all right,
cool.
moving on, we got the I guess it is the third chorus at this point, and then we'll have the third verse with Nawarake closing us out before the final chorus. So we'll be back with you, talking through your ear holes.
Small time rumble.
Yeah, by the end of the song.
You like the way we styling, always keep it smiling. Papa God, thank you for today. Thank you for today.
Fresh off the island, I'm styling, I'm wildin'. I take a couple strong shells and I get silent. Check the violin, the guitar, the rhyming. Attack the microphone like we about to get violent. Paytax and JP and Rexley and James. Vanessa Cash Money, go ahead and do your thing, Save finish, let me fella on the more, yeah. Me tell them good, me no cranky, no sabon, yeah. Awesome one them, you heard the words I said. White man, bisla my rap, yeah. Fire blow you dead. Couché, all you haters go away. Nawarake, I do this every single day, ayy. Me no sabe, kimo sabe, what you sabe. Nawarake, come on from a 5 day. Too much ratness, the madness, we at risk. Call him easy kill, blonde, kill him dead, all rap, please.
Fresh off the island, you like the way we styling, always keep it smiling. Papa God, thank you for today. Fresh off the island, yeah. Like the way we styling, yeah. Always keep it smiling, yeah.
All right, and that was the final verse and the final chorus for Island Fresh. Kind of get a little bit of a sampling of James Longdale's musical talents at the end there, where he does a little bit of improv. The rest of the choruses are just kind of like, the same verse, same chorus, same lyrics, but you get a little bit of a change there at the end, and of course Nawarake, the subject of our initial series,
Subject of the podcast.
The inspiration, the inspiration behind the podcast with the album Vanuatu Proud, as we sat on a beach drinking kava and thought, we should talk about this podcast.
Yeah, we should record this.
We should record our opinions. We should record our opinions. Record us talking and having discussions about this music in particular, with Vanuatu Proud. But Nawarake does an excellent job weaving humor with excellent verses, of course referencing the kava before he's really going to be island fresh or ready for the island.
Oh yeah.
So very, very appropriate. There's the through line for this episode of the podcast is
Island fresh really just means being kava drunk.
well, I mean, I don't know.
I'm joking. But if you drop all of the other metaphors and you really just look at the through line.
I mean, I could potentially see the I mean, if you think of the album's called Ratness. Like, there's this through line of humor kind of underlying it.
He rhymed it with madness, and I thought that was very intriguing.
Yeah, they have a creative way. I think it was earlier in the second verse, Rexley mentions the album title, Ratness. That's also the titular track of the album. We'll probably have to return to that one. That's got a really good music video, and you can check that one out on YouTube as well. And SoundCloud, where he's got copies of that. I think the full album might still be linked on his Facebook page, highly likely. Since I don't think those were ephemeral, they were going to be there
Right. until
Facebook dies, or wherever the album dies, or something like that, whichever platform goes first. But yeah, no, it's a good verse by Nawarake, and
I liked when he said, couche, all you haters go away. So he's saying that his haters are dogs. And
you gotta love the use of the couche.
Lyrically tells them to F off, so classic. On brand.
It's very, very on brand, and kind of, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much more to say. It's
That's a really fun song.
It really is. I really
Short,
enjoy
sweet,
listening
to the
to
point.
it. Yeah, I think every time I listen to it, I get a different experience, which I think is part of the coolness, ratness about it.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of fun to perform.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would have been really cool to see perform live with all the different performers in it.
If you can get everyone under one roof at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And they all have like, while there's a through line in the themes and kind of the sound, the tune of each of the verses, like they have their own distinctive styles.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned with JP being very quick, like he's just a very fast rapper, and then Rexley being a little bit more of a mixture of kind of rap and like singing. Paytax being a little bit kind of in between both of those. But yeah, it's just like every time I listen to the song, I get like a different feeling around it, and it's not so much like the lyrics specifically, but just kind of the feeling of the song, just like
Certainly.
yeah, which is it's pretty cool for a song to elicit that kind of visceral feeling of like actual like experience, and not just like the painting of the image, but the actual like feeling that goes along with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was Island Fresh by Nawarake from the 2017 album Ratness. We are going to go have a shell of kava, and we will be back with you soon.
Peace.
Shells up. And we are back with One Shell Behind. That was Island Fresh by Nawarake, and we are just closing it out now. So Island Fresh, the song can be found on a few different platforms. YouTube, there was fairly recently, a couple of years ago, new video uploaded for Island Fresh, as well as a few different tracks from the album Ratness. You can actually get the whole album Ratness. They're still on the Facebook page. The link is still there. You just have to scroll down to 2017, and you can actually download the album. It's also available. The full album is also available on SoundCloud. So if you want to check that out, we might in the future explore some of those songs as well, depending on where we go. Our next track for the next episode will be focusing on the next track in Vanuatu Proud.
Going back to Vanuatu Proud.
Going back to our multi-year journey through the album Vanuatu Proud by Nawarake. So that will be Visit Vanuatu.
Visit Vanuatu.
So I think we mentioned last time we're really excited to listen to that and dig into the track, into the verses, and listen more. I keep saying listen more actively, but
I mean, it's really surprising how many different flavors of bangers I can come up with about different aspects of Vanuatu tourism, but they're nailing it, right? Like,
yeah.
Every song, every track is brilliant. So.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, like I said in the last episode, just like I'm interested in listening to it again and listening to it with a little bit more or less passively, right? Like previously, I listened to it. It's a great song. It's got a great beat. It's very catchy. Listen to it on repeat, but I've never really thought about what the lyrics were and what the song was about. And I feel like with Home, as we went through that, you start to see the layers there, which is really cool because it really kind of paints the picture of the artist and how they're writing their verses and writing their lyrics, and there's just these layers to, especially when it's these really small things, there's small parts of it that have such bigger meanings included in them, and that's always cool to discover. And I similarly with Island Fresh, right, that kind of feeling that I was getting from the song of just the way that they were stringing the verses together and using kind of a more visceral feeling to kind of get that feeling of Island Fresh and being fresh off the island. And
well, it just shows you what skilled artists they are, right? When you take the time to break down the lyrics and the music, and I mean, what it means to you means something different than what it means to them, but everybody enjoys the art differently.
No, it's really cool. So next episode we'll listen to Visit Vanuatu, get back on the horse for our Vanuatu Proud journey.
Jumping back on that horse.
Yeah, there's still some special installments I'd love to do. I'd love to check out more. I'd love to check out the new Mantis album. We've talked about that a lot. We featured some advertisements, quote unquote, in a couple episodes, and links in the show notes for the Mantis album, but also some other artists. Grassroots Star is one that keeps coming to mind. Voice Below a Man Place is just an amazing song. Features Nawarake and the artist Metoxide.
Some interviews with non-Vanuatu artists.
Might be.
There's a lot of thoughts in the pipeline.
Yeah. So we'll keep working on what's coming up next. Certainly checking out Exoset. Was it Exoset Taha Taha in Tonga, who just released the album? Is it Dui De Volo? I think it's Dui De Volo. But I have to reconfirm that one. We did some quote unquote advertisements for that in a couple episodes. Certainly promoting some of the great music that's coming out from artists not only in Vanuatu but in Tonga as well. So yeah, looking forward to those, and we'll be back with you next week.
Ready to do visit Vanuatu.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next One Shell Behind, and we'll be jumping into One Shell Behind, the next track in Vanuatu Proud by Nawarake. Drink lots of kava.
See you when we see you.
Shells up.
M1 Gucci, island fresh in the place and we moving forward, not looking back, it's a fact. Pay tax, nicely and fresh like ice cream on the track. Squeeze a lime in a glass with 2 cubes of ice. Break sleeve, Philip Island fresh. We put them island shirt, you put them island dress. Girl, dedicate Long Islanders. Not got some South Long Island, yeah. Hey, break sleeve and I do it so freshly. Yes, please, small microphone testing. It's me just back from the park. Island fresh with a reckless squad. Fresh off the island, I'm styling, I'm wildin'. I take a couple strong shells and I get silent. Check the violin, the guitar, the rhyming. I take the microphone like we about to get violent. Pay tax and JP and Brexley and James. Vanessa Cash Money, go ahead.